My children soon will be gods. この狩りの始まりだ。
I've been punched while defending a friend. I've been kicked while defending a friend. I've had someone attempt to, like, body slam me. And then they tried to pick me up and realized, oh god, this fucker's too heavy. Also, I said that way too early in the video. Sorry about that. But I have been through a lot in terms of, like, people hurting me or trying to hurt me whenever I've been defending a friend. One that I thought I was going to get in big trouble for was a friend of mine was accused of, like, assault, and the cops actually came to our little trailer that we were living in, and I was just told, I was like, he's accused of what? And then all of a sudden they were just like, yeah, he was accused of this and accused of that, and you know, she's accusing him of all this, and we just need to ask him some questions. And I was like, oh dang, what date did it supposedly happen? They're like, well, it happened on this date here. And then I actually started laughing. I was like, wait, that date? Okay, I got an alibi for him. That's impossible because me and him were in Washington, D.C. that entire weekend. Like, here, I can show you on my phone, like, where we were in D.C. Like, here's us, like, all this place. Yeah. And then the cops were eventually just like, huh. Well, damn. And then they basically, like, my friend never heard anything else about that, so, yeah.
It's surprising, because usually you'd have to take that to court.
Oh, I think here's the thing. If, like, the cops, I guarantee you they realized that this person was blowing smoke out their ass, and just, like, we're just like, yeah.
Usually it's not their place to make that decision, though.
They're able to go on, like judge by discretion, but if the person goes to a lawyer...
I guess it depends on whether or not they already had a warrant for his arrest.
They didn't. They were just
so
investigating.
If they were legitimately just wanting to ask questions, that's probably why.
Yeah, there was no, like, charges filed or anything yet. They're, like, here's the thing, until they do an investigation, they're not really allowed to make like charges like that. They can't just take one side of it and then just like, unless there's, like, compensatory evidence, which they did not have. Because according to the person that said that got assaulted, you know, they didn't have any evidence. So yeah, that's what that that's what that panned out with. But anyway, I've never been bitten while defending a friend, but Rebecca has apparently. So let's see what she got bit while defending, or why she got bit while defending a friend. Here we go.
Hello, my geeks and peeps, my explainers and entertainers, my little oodle lollies, Rebecca Parham here. Throughout my young life, I've had a handful of noteworthy, people who habitually seek out to harm or intimidate those whom they perceive as vulnerable. Oh, sorry, YouTube now demonetizes the B word, and I don't mean Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. At my preparatory school, pretty much most of my classmates didn't like me and picked on me from time to time, but a few of them made it a more regular thing. One such individual was a girl that we'll call Millie. She was a troubled young soul, little on the mad side. Had difficulty understanding why people got upset when she punched them. Ah, come on, we were just having fun. To be fair, I wasn't her only target. She was an equal opportunity irritant. She tormented girls, boys, big kids, small kids, kids that climb on rocks, everyone. And she did everything from cheap insults to stealing to physical violence. When you're young, adults tell you to stand up to kids like her, defend the innocent, be a hero, do the right thing. What they don't tell you is that sometimes doing the right thing still gets you in trouble.
Yes.
Millie, I know you're probably out there growing up in a better person, but I'm using you as an example. On with the show. It was 6th grade when Millie and I had our little incident. That year we had gotten a brand new kid we'll call Greg. Greg was a troubled soul, too. He had a very poor family life, all of the kids in the class relentlessly picked on him, and he often retaliated not with his words, but his fist. He hated everyone, and everyone hated him. Well, except me. Seeing how he was a fellow social outcast, I couldn't bring myself to be mean to him. And in turn, he was never mean to me. You could even say we were friendly for a while. Now, at this tiny school, we didn't have a cafeteria, we all ate in the gym. So one lunchtime, Greg and I were sitting on the bleachers eating and talking. Now, when Greg wasn't pummeling the kids who made fun of him, he kept a journal. Probably should have been his first choice for emotional expression, but hey, I'm no psychologist. And this day, he had his journal sitting out next to him on the bleachers. As we talked, Millie came over. You remember her. She stood there chatting with us until she spied Greg's journal. Ooh, what's this? Don't touch it, it's my journal. A journal? Come on, let's see it. In a flash, Millie snatched the book out of his hands and ran off with it. Greg gave chase, and to escape him, Millie ran into the girls' locker room.
Here's
By the time I caught up with the two, Greg
I don't
was standing...
care. I don't care if you run into the girls' locker room. I will tackle you and get back what is mine. Like that. Like I don't care if I get in trouble. It's just like she stole my property. She has no right to it. I don't give a fuck if she runs into the girls' locker room.
Just outside the locker room, Millie was standing just inside with the door open, and she was reading from his journal out loud to the other girls inside, knowing full well he couldn't go in to stop her. And remember, Greg was a troubled kid. There might have been some really heavy stuff in that journal that she was about to spill everywhere. I saw all of this unfolding in front of me, and I knew I had to do something. This was not right. Time to stand up, as the adults say. So I ran into the locker room and began tussling with Millie for the journal. No one was getting hurt, mind you, just a lot of pulling and shuffling. But tug of war quickly escalated into war. Give you 3 guesses who took it too far. We struggled for about 10 seconds before it happened. The next thing I knew, she grabbed my wrist and bit down as hard as she could. I screamed full voice and let go of the journal. When she finally let go of me, I looked down at my wrist to see a perfectly gruesome bite in my skin. And it was pretty gnarly looking too, those serrated indentions, it was already starting to bruise. And it was slobbery. Thankfully, she didn't break the skin because, listen, human bites are nothing to sneeze at.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
a Google search. Mayo Clinic says to seek emergency care if the skin is broken. Apparently, we all have Komodo dragon mouths full of dangerous bacteria. Actually, that kind of makes you rethink kissing. You
No,
bit me.
no. No, because that's the thing. Human salivary glands, like, in the mouth, if you, like, maintain good, maintain, like, you know, just like brushing your teeth or like, you know, just like a fairly clean mouth, then there's no problem. However, if the pathogens like break the skin and get into the bloodstream, that's something else.
Me. What the hell is wrong with you? You're insane. I'm going to the nurse. Suddenly, Millie wasn't so concerned about Greg and his journal anymore. I marched right to the nurse's office, with Millie behind me trying to convince me not to go. When I showed the nurse the bite, she disinfected it and called the principal. We both got sent to his office. I told him my story, but when it was Millie's turn to tell hers, she actually had the gall to say, "When she put her arm across my back, I couldn't breathe. She was about to suffocate me. So you see, I had no choice but to bite her." Objection, Your Honor? That's not how the human body works? No, I didn't say that. I didn't say anything in that moment because it wasn't my turn to talk. And honestly, I was getting a little freaked out because the principal was acting like I was just as guilty as Millie. I don't know if he honestly believed her lies, but he listened to our stories and said, "Well, because both of you were horseplaying in the bathroom, you're both in trouble." Horseplay? I'll be calling your parents today. Rebecca, you'll be getting 5 demerits. And Millie, normally I'd give you 5 as well, but because this is the second time I've seen you in my office this year, you'll be getting 10. I have several objections. Let's get this straight. My crime, my punishable offense, was getting bitten while defending another kid. And the person who bit me would have gotten the exact same punishment as me if it hadn't been her second offense. Excuse me, who hurt you? Yeah, sure, maybe I could have politely asked the little sadist for the journal back. Like she'd actually give it back.
The discipline
but I don't care
in
who
like most school systems is absolutely bullshit.
Yeah. For instance,
They have no sense of fair.
there was a kid, let's call him Corey, he basically made it a point to where he terrorized kids. He terrorized kids all the time, and he did one thing to me. He's like, hey, Nate, hold my foot real quick. And I'm like, okay. And I grabbed his foot, and then he jumped up and insta-gurried me and basically kicked me in the face with his other foot. And I was just like, and the bell rang, and we had to go sit back down. And then he was just like, hey, Nate, here, hold my foot again. I need to show you something else. So I'm just like, okay. I grabbed his foot. I held it up too high to where he could jump and kick. And then I just like full on like field goaled him right in the balls. And he was down on the ground. Teacher came over. He's like, what happened here? And then I was just like, he kicked me in the face, and I fought back. And then I remember my dad, well, that was the second time I got sent to the office for fighting. First time was for the time I punched Charles, like, I have no fear of saying his name, Charles Fairchild III. I have no problem saying his name, because fuck that kid. He was a piece of shit. He basically punched me in the stomach because I beat him out to the playground the first time, and then when I beat him out to the playground, he basically came right up to me and he punched me in the stomach, and he said, I want to be first on the playground. You don't get to the playground before I do. And then I didn't know what to do. So I went home and I told my parents what happened. And then my dad was just like, next time he does that, here's what I want you to do, son. Next time he does that, and my dad showed me how to like ball up my fist, and he showed me how to like throw a proper punch, like a straight right. And he was just like, hit my hand. No. Hit like try to punch like you're trying to punch behind my hand. And I was like, okay, better. And we did that for about half an hour, and then eventually I felt confident enough. Next time we went to school, I ran out to the playground. I beat Charles out to the playground again, and then he comes up to me and he like tries to punch me again, and I just like pow right in the nose. Like his nose starts gushing blood, and we get sent to the principal's office. But who gets in trouble? Me, because Charles's family is rich. Charles's family comes from money. They're like his dad's a lawyer, and they got all the money in the world. My family, my dad's a regular working Joe for a lumber company, and my mom's a school teacher. You think they give a shit about me? No. I got in trouble. Charles got sent home with an apology from the school. And then from what I understand, Charles then got enrolled in like a private school after that. I don't know. But I never really saw him much after that.
Don't understand why he wasn't in one to start with.
I don't know. Maybe like the dad didn't care enough, and then whenever his son got hurt, he was just like, all right, fine. Just so we don't got to worry about like him getting hurt or anything like that, let's put him in a private school. I don't know. Maybe they homeschooled his ass. I don't know. Kid was irritating as all shit.
There is a very big difference between tug of war to get stolen property back and a full-blown bite that could have potentially ended in a hospital trip. Lord help us, Becca's angry. Even as outrageous as it all was, I was beside myself. All I could think about in that moment was that I was in trouble. I was supposed to be the good kid, the peacekeeper, the clean record. 5 demerits, and he's calling my parents? They only do that for the bad kids. Am I a bad kid now? Oh, Mom and Dad are gonna be so mad at me. He sent us back to class, and for the rest of the day, I was a nervous wreck, dreading the sound of that final bell. For sure, the principal had called Mom, and the moment I set foot in her car, I was a goner. Well, the end of the day came, and I solemnly walked to my mom's car. It felt like I was walking to my own execution. I got in and silently awaited my fate. Hey, sweetie, we're gonna be here a little bit longer. We're waiting on your sister to get out of basketball practice. That's it? No screaming, no lecture, no punishment? She's not even gonna bring it up? I was a tad confused. Wait a minute. She didn't get a call from the principal. She doesn't know what happened. Well, that's not right. She needs to know. or I got this bite on my arm for nothing. Look what Millie did to me. Oh, hell no.
Nice.
And
I was going to say, you have a couple ways you can phrase this here, Becca. I hope you pick a good one and you pick the best one.
look what Millie did to me. Insert Tyrannosaurus Rex.
So you can either you can either start telling the story the wrong way, and then you end up having to defend yourself to your mom because she's now mad at you for fighting, or you can just be like, "Look what this girl did to me," and you just instantly activated your mom's rage against another kid. And that was the right way to go.
And it's like death
against
approaches.
another kid that deserves it. So.
Oh, death approaches.
And probably against the principal and stuff as well.
Oh, you want to know the one? Like my mom, like I got suspended from school for a day because there was this group of kids that said I threatened to bring a gun to school, which I never did. Instead, they were talking about it, and they tried to rope me into the conversation, and I didn't want any part of it. And then they basically said, "Yeah, he said he was going to do this," and then my mom basically pointed out, just be like, this kid has been suspended for lying before. This kid's been suspended for lying before. And this kid's been suspended for lying before. Why would you believe any word that they say when my son hasn't been suspended once for lying? And I still got suspended for a day. My mom was livid with the principal for siding with them.
The only time my mom was ever mad at the principals and people in elementary school when I got sent to the principal's office and got a talking to for saying the word wiener in reference to the wiener that goes on a hot dog. You can't say that word. And it wasn't even wiener, it was weenie. I said weenie. And it was because my friend was eating a hot dog really, really quickly. And I was like, dude, you need to slow down. You're going to get choked on the weenie. It's happened to me before. And he like raised his hand and told the teacher, he said weenie. It's like, I was talking about the weenie on the hot dog bun. And so I got sent to the principal's office. You can't say that word. And like, I remember my sister literally, like, I can still hear her say, it's not a hot dog until you stick a bun and chili to it. It's a weenie.
Yeah. And the other one that my mom got mad about was when my my Game Boy Color got confiscated, and then they said that I'd get it back at the end of the school year, and then I get put in ISS for another reason. Fighting, go figure. I get put in ISS for fighting, and then I look and I was like, huh. It's like, what are you in here for? It's like, oh, I got busted with my Game Boy Color. They say I get it back at the end of the day, though. I was like, really? And then I was like, huh. A yellow Game Boy Color with a Pokemon Yellow cartridge, huh? And then I look, and my name was written on the back of the cartridge and on the back of the Game Boy, and it had been scratched off. Like, it had been scratched off, and I was like, huh. And then I opened up the battery port, and in the battery port, underneath the batteries, there were my initials, NJH. They didn't find those and scratch those out. So, I was able to prove that the Game Boy that this kid had in his possession was in fact mine. So, I actually got out of ISS early that day, and I got my Game Boy back with like the vice principal still trying to sound tough to be like, well, just don't have it in school again. And my mom was just like, oh really? How did that other kid wind up with it, Susan? How did he wind up with it? And the vice principal had nothing to say. So, ooh well.
Explain yourself, knave! We were in that principal's office for a good half hour, and Mom calmly explained over and over and over again the absurdity of it all. How backwards it is to punish a child for essentially being assaulted, especially while defending another child. And here I was terrified that she was going to be mad at me. By the end of it, she couldn't convince the principal to remove the 5 demerits, but it almost didn't matter anymore. I had done what's right. I stood up for what I believed in. And the people that mattered knew it. It may come with consequences, but doing good is its own reward. And after that day, Millie backed off.
So that's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're in trouble at school if your parents don't mind. Like, if your parents think you're in the right, you're gold. Like,
Exactly. It's like when I got
the only reason anybody's scared of being in trouble at school is because they're scared of what their parents are going to do when they get home.
Yeah. It's like me whenever I got in trouble for punching Charles, and like the principal was like reading me the rights about how horrible it is, and like, you know, you're gonna wind up like doing bad stuff and this, and then I get home and my dad was just like, good shot, son. I was just like, thanks, Dad.
Me or Greg ever again. Just goes to show what can come from one act of bravery. Hey Oodalollies, Editor Becca here again. I hope you're all doing okay during this strange time. But I wanted to show you what the Creatoring team and I have been working on. I'm really excited about this. We have a new Witch of the Woods themed collection out, available for pre-order. We're also bringing back The Geek is Strong with this one t-shirt as well.
I think
all
we
of
might
these
have
items
missed
will be
the
available
boat
for
on this
2
one.
weeks to pre-order. And if you really like all 3 of the Witch of the Woods items, you can get them in a nifty little bundle and save some money. I'll leave a link to the shop in the description below. Please promise me that you will stay safe and stay home, explainers. Thank you so much for tuning in, but now I must tune out. Bye!
All right. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's how Becca got bit, and in all honesty, she did the right thing. She did the right thing defending that kid, and in all honesty, I'm glad that her mom had her back, because
I'm glad she didn't break the skin and turn you into a werebully.
yeah, imagine her like just like, oh god, my hair is turning blonde and I'm becoming a bitch.
That would suck.
I know, right? It'd be like me turning into Billy Idol. My god. Anyway, so yeah, bitten while defending a friend. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this, and hopefully if you all want to see more from Rebecca, you can actually click the link right here on the screen. It'll lead to her channel. You can also click this here and subscribe to our channel. I mean, you're here. I mean, why not? If you're going to be coming back to watch more videos, I mean, feel free to. And then there's the links on screen that'll take you to Renegade TV. Then another recommendation to our channel, so feel free to check any of those out. And until next time, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
Be good people. Stay safe. Peace.